back, and so is Kyrie, right up there on the front of the screen, as always. Let's see if I don't know what it is, Kyrie, about this layout, but I'm gonna see if we can. I'm up front now. I'm gonna do a grid. There's just look at this. This is come on, guys, make him up there. Put him up there. Let me get back here. Look at this. I'm gonna do this
The
back and
camera
forth
loves
for a
me.
minute. No, it's funny because it should be. Let me see if I can do this with a different full screen. There's my full screen. I'm going to unpin myself. There's him. He's pinned. Now I'm going to go back to the grid. There we go. My God, dude, I got to talk to Riverside about this format that they have for moving windows. There is one. There isn't one, I should say. So, Kyrie, welcome to the broadcast once again.
Thanks, man.
This is Best AI Podcast, episode 30. Not to include all the workshops and everything Ross and I did, and some others that we got together with Jim on the side, and myself just broadcasting out at Best AI TV. But being episode 30, I think it's time to reflect a little on where we're at in the industry. Are we really in the industry? There's a lot of broadcasts out there. There's a lot of podcasts out there. And I don't feel we've gained much traction, let's just be honest, with the podcast itself. But I know people see us and I know people watch us. So if you're seeing this on my Facebook profile, which is one place you might find me, the other is on YouTube at Best AI TV, and the third is out on LinkedIn, which we've just been recently broadcasting on. So the way we're doing that is over on Riverside FM. So if you want to go check it out, it's a really cool place to record for free. As you can see, we've had a little issue with the opening video, and Kyrie always getting his face his 10 seconds of fame after the fact, but hey, it's all good. So go visit Riverside FM, check them out and see what's going on as far as the YouTube channel. Again, Best AI TV. But if you want to get notified on what's going on with the show, just head over to bestai.tv, where you'll have a form at the bottom, fill it out. You'll get notified every week in the morning before we go live. So Kyrie, crazy stuff going on as always. New stuff. What have you heard lately? Tell me what your week was like in AI the last
Well,
7
I
days.
mean, it's been the usual. I've been here gearing up to launch my personal brand
Mhm.
as the AI sensei. So I've been really like hunkered down and focused on that. But I mean, it wouldn't be a week in AI without some kind of craziness. I think the biggest thing that's still permeating is the OpenAI's image generation.
Mhm.
Their thing. I mean, it's going crazy. I've depending on what I'm using it for, I have a workflow on how I create my images for like social and things like that. But
Okay.
um, depending on what it is, man, I've started to default to that for very specific, bespoke things that I want it to be 100% on point for.
Gotcha.
And I'd say like 95% of the time it gets what I want, or it'll interpret it and it'll give me something better than what I thought it was going to be.
Really?
So I can use it. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the biggest thing right now for that I'm hearing.
Let me see. I was just poking around. If you hadn't heard with the Ghibli image generator that OpenAI just announced with their latest update, which was kind of mind blowing. You've heard about how many users Threads got when they started, how many users some of the social apps get when they first fire up, and you get records upon records every month, so many millions of users. Well, when you have 1 million users sign up in an hour, literally to your platform, that's what happened at OpenAI when they announced the Studio Ghibli, which is an anime style graphic, which is a cartoon image that can be transposed from regular images. So you just take an image of your face or whatever and drop it in the processor, and it creates an image. I played with it once last night with Ray. So if you want to go check out the podcast from last night at New Oaks, we did do a small example of how that works. Let me see if I can pull up a tab here. I did a couple. One of them was in, here's the image right here. This one's kind of wild. Let me do a quick screen share. Um, this will just be a partial. You're going to see the initial image first. So this one you see of me most of the time out there on social. It's my profile image currently. So if I scroll down here, I just asked it, by uploading the image, you ask it to turn it into a Studio Ghibli style image. And this is what you get. Okay. So it is that anime. I lose my lips in these images for some reason. I'm not sure why. But if I actually go to the one that I created inside Merlin as well, which is another app that I use, I should be able to find the history here. Let's see. If I do No, maybe that one didn't get. Oh, I know why. It's over here in Bonkers. So I have an app built into Merlin that allows me to get to the Ghibli anime style. And if I actually upload an image, well, let's see if I have one here. I should have one that's already here. There we go. So you can see here the image that it created. I'll stop this share and pull up the other one. It was in a different window. Sorry. Let's just do entire screen here. So this was the other format that I got. So I received two different styles, basically. This was one that was done through Bonkers, which is part of Merlin. And then we've got the one that was just going through the standard open AI chat window here, which gave me this result. So two totally different shades of Ghibli there. You see, like I said, I lose my top lip in both of these. Have you tried this yet, Kyrie?
Yeah, man. I tried it a little bit. I haven't tried it on myself. I tried it on a few other things.
Okay.
Actually, had some clients reach out to me and said, "Hey, what is this thing that I'm seeing everybody post on it?" So it's between that and the action figure posts that people have been doing.
Yes, that's the other one.
What I thought was interesting is, and I didn't confirm whether this is true or not, but I think I saw a post on Twitter from Sant Altman telling everybody to like calm down and stop using it so much because the developers need to sleep.
Yeah, it's got to be crushing them over there when you think about
it's killing them, and I'm like, it was just hilarious because like the comment thread, as you can imagine, on that the response to that,
oh my god,
were just gold. But yeah.
Well, let me see if I can pull up, like you mentioned, the action figure. A friend of mine, Owen Video, who a lot of people are probably familiar with. Let me see if I can still grab his. He might have already gotten rid of it. Yeah, those were pretty cool. It's like a package, like what do you call it? Unopened package of an action figure of yourself, basically, which allows you to take your brand and image yourself as your brand. Let me pull it up. I know it's aired.
Yeah, they're. I mean, I've been seeing because cool. We're in that AI space, so like the communities that we partake in and we see discussions. Yeah, there we go. You're seeing so many people do it, and then they're adding twists to it. So I saw a bunch of Star Trek ones. I saw a bunch of like different like popular video games and TV shows and things like that. So it's pretty cool though.
It is cool because you're looking at a 3D rendition of what you might look like in a 3D Pixar environment. It's like nothing can be better for brand recognition than something people like to look at. And in this case, it's like a mind bending thing where you're like, man, that is really that dude's face on an action figure. How did they do that? It's 3D. It's like, is that real? So many people are going, hey, I need to order one of those. And they're like, no, it's just an image. It doesn't really exist. I
mean, you got a 3D printer.
Exactly.
If you got a 3D printer nowadays, like you can take it, pull it into the software, and it'll render it out the right way. If it reminds me, I've been recently watching this show called Severance, and there's the intro scene. There's a bunch of miniature versions of some of the characters in it, and this is what it reminded me of. It's just like the way it looks. It just looks like that. I saw one guy. He did it where. Remember the old G.I. Joe frames where they had the actual animatronic, like you can move the hinges and things like that, like the limbs and things like that. I saw somebody do it specifically like that, and it had all of that in there. It had the different. It was interesting, but it's really cool, man.
I could see cool. Claymation artists going crazy with some of the way because I have seen it already. And if you watch some of those movie sets that were made, I forget the one that was just recently. It was like a pirate style anime or animated movie made in a lot of claymation. Those guys are amazing. I can't see how like a graphical anime app of any kind could ever match the feel and just authenticity of a real claymation animation production because of how it's done. It's just so intricate. Every little minor moving part is moved manually with somebody's fingers or tool set or whatever. I can't imagine AI ever duplicating.
Yeah, I saw there was a movie that came out in the last few years that was super popular.
Yep. I just saw it too.
I don't remember the name of it, but it was like a Dante's Inferno type movie.
Yep. I'm gonna put it right here. Wasn't it Mad God?
I think so. And then there's another one called Stop Motion, I think.
Yep. There's a few of them out there.
But yeah, I think the Mad God one is the one that I'm talking about. That one was. It was a lot, but you got to respect that technique of film is like,
and we can get into,
like you said.
we've been talking about wanting to get into the AI movie production end of things, which we will touch on here, but it's kind of its own beast.
Yeah.
If you want to really dig into AI automation or AI video, let's say, you kind of got to just focus on that alone and just
Yeah.
bury yourself into the tool sets that are out there. Runway is one that just recently updated their version 4, is amazing when it comes to character creation and the aesthetic to keep it consistent throughout the
Hmm.
filmmaking. And that's been one of the downfalls through a lot of the video producing apps as of late, is just keeping character consistency throughout and
Yeah.
making sure that it matches throughout the frames. But they're getting there. It's to that point now. I think that we're going to see some really awesome AI movie sets start to prosper because they're
Yeah. I
going
mean,
to know how to put it together.
right. Yeah. And I think because it's such an a constantly shoot minute by minute evolving space, right? Like AI is like that in general, but the video area is like 6 months ago, there were areas of video production that people were like, oh, AI we'll never be able to do this with AI. And now it's like the
Mhm.
they released it in an update in the majority of the AI video creation platforms or whatever. But the main core ideology behind it is that it's just like any other creative space. So the AI
Mhm.
video tools, they're turning ideas into visuals without the required, capital to have like the camera, the crew, the even the editing software suite, right? Like, so those platforms, like you mentioned Runway, but there's Sora, there's Pika, like they let users generate this cinematic quality content from simple text prompts,
Yeah.
and it democratizes production. That enables creators and brands and educators even, right, to build content at scale with minimal resources. So
Mhm.
it's literally like the next leap in storytelling and content automation. So yeah, I mean, AI video is the film studio in your browser, right, write it, prompt it, watch it come to life essentially. So
Yeah,
it's like it's one of
exactly.
those things.
Yeah, I've got a good friend, Ross Brand, who writes a book every year called the Live Streaming Predictions Guide. And it's like every year over the last 10 years, I've been a contributor to that, or at least not every year, the last 7 of 10. And this was a contribution I made just a year and a half ago for the latest edition of the book, I believe, or maybe one version back, but it was our 100th. We had 100 people in on this. And this was my prediction over a year and a half ago, was in the future, watch for AI to be running the cameras, editing the content, and providing the final production in hand. It may seem like a dream now, but mark my words, it's already on the horizon. Because I'd seen a glimpse even before Runway was in existence of what the possibilities were with what they were generating with AI video generators. And I was like, man, when you just look at it overall, it's a given that this
Yeah.
can all be done autonomously, let's say, with the right tools and the right creators. I mean, you have to have the talent to know what to look for, to know what to build, to know how to look at things, how to angle it, how the perspectives of all of these productions are very important. So
Yeah.
pretty cool
Yep.
stuff.
It's true, man.
Uh, so what else? We were talking earlier before we got here. A lot of collab going on in the
Oh yeah.
space, and I think it's cool because let's look first before we go there. There's a big topic of discussion that's going on, and that's thanks to Anthropic and their Model Context Protocol, or what's being coined as MCP throughout the industry. It's really a new way to train AI agents, and it's giving us access to a more profound tool set that's allowing us to basically tap other applications and backend infrastructure using API calls through that context protocol. And I'll give you a brief introduction here in just a second of how that looks. It's basically a computer. Your host with an MCP client like Claude or an IDE, like a drive setup or a tool setup, whatever that structure might be, is going to have access to various servers with that same protocol. So in one case, maybe the server just has access to a remote service on an internet plug somewhere where you're just accessing data and information like weather feeds or RSS feeds or what have you. And then there's another source that gives you exact database source location for perhaps your business or the structures your business uses as tools in its business structure. And then there's the other outside sources like legal and IRS or accounting, things of that nature that you're going to connect to your accountant system or what have you, and be able to provide tools out of that into your own business
Yeah.
structure. So it's a new wave. it's something. Have you played in it at all yet,
I
Kyrie?
haven't,
Because I haven't either.
but it's just one of those things, right? Like, so I look at this MCP adoption.
Mhm,
Um, it's like the USB of AI,
mhm, mhm,
right? So it's
mhm.
like one plug with
Like a
like
big
an
hub.
infinite access, right?
Yes.
It offers a unified standard for connecting AI models
Mhm.
to data, to tools, external services without like custom engineering every time you got to do that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it allows the developers to that build once and plug into everything from internal databases to third party apps. It's streamlining AI development, right? At
Yes.
scale. So yeah, it's like the Rosetta Stone of AI integration. Speak once and connect it everywhere.
It is kind of, and if you go to the anthropic.com, look up the model context protocol and scroll down in this article, which is very easy to find on Google in the front page. Just scroll down into that center section where it says model context protocol. So here's the specification in the SDKs, or these are the development kits that are put together for software developers so that they can add this protocol process into their own apps. And then you have the server support for the built-in Claude desktop apps. So this is giving access to all of their own internal applications that are available in Claude. And then also you'll find an open source repository of all of the MCP servers out on GitHub, where you scroll down, you will find all kinds of reference servers. And when I say that, I mean things like AWS, EverArt, Fetch, File System, GitHub, Google Drive, Google Maps, Memory, Postgres. And then if you want to go into official third-party servers, you can start scrolling for a while and decide what types of services you want your AI agent to access. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it changed the game because we used to have to sit here and decide, okay, where's a good API that I can go find something, anything to
Yep.
connect to, or an RSS feed that I can work with. Now we have people literally opening up, like here's Docker, I mean, Discord, uh, you name it, you can probably
It's
find
what's
a
what's
backend
what's
now.
interesting. What's interesting about it is like it could be easy to like lose people when you start talking about some of these things. Like I would say, depending on who's watching or who sees
Oh, yeah,
this, they
for sure.
probably are in the camp that would understand what Docker is, right?
Yes, we
But
hope.
even people who are net new to AI or technology, or like they're technology laymen,
Uh-huh.
they would recognize probably 50 to 60% of the names you just called out. And
Yeah.
that in and of itself explains like the accessibility and how widespread this is going,
Mhm.
right? To be able to read off a list of things that it integrates with or that can use this technology that we're talking about, and to put it under the moniker of like a universal access type thing,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
have anybody pretty much be able to at least pick 3 or 4 names out of what you just went through, like, oh, I recognize that company, I recognize this
Yeah,
company. It just
right.
speaks volumes about how widespread it's going to be and who's actually adopting this stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
fast and furious. It's not slowing down either because, and just for an example, Active Pieces, which is a not very well known product by a lot of
mhm,
people, except for those who are into automations who have used Zapier and Make and
right.
N8N that know that Active Pieces has an open source version as well. Well, they just announced a couple of days ago that every node within their Active Pieces build will have an MCP component to it so that
Hmm.
it can be accessed from the outside, which now we've got open source builds for workspace. And that's really cool because now we can just for free literally go out and tap into all of these workflows and work tools for our agents across the board. Oh, and speaking of, if you're not aware, if you're in your open AI or API account this week, you might want to take a look now, today actually, and head over because they're making an offer to people who are willing to allow their data to go into the training model, which I'm okay with because I don't have any privacy matters to concern myself with on my end. But if you head over to the OpenAI API, let me just set it over here and maybe I can show you guys where it's at. Let's see if it shows up. So there was an announcement on the tab, and I know Kyrie's not even aware of what I'm talking about right now. If I go to my billing, I believe, because I only keep a few dollars on this account at any given time. So for the API setup for the billing and everything, you're going to find limits to your account, et cetera, et cetera. I've got a dollar something left on this one right now. But as far as usage goes, there's some stuff going on over here. Where did I find it? Let me double check and see if it's in here. I went to billing and went to do, oh, here, maybe it's here. credit grants, maybe. No, that wasn't the one. So what you can do though is if you go into your billing section, you may find that what happens is they're going to allow your account. I think it was right in here somewhere. Usage limits or preferences or something might be here, but it'll be a notice. And maybe it was just my account that showed up. It said, hey, you're eligible for some free tokens. And what it said is from now until April 10th. So maybe there's a note out there about OpenAI AI free tokens. They are giving me, like, here it is. So this must be it. Yeah, that was just announced January 18th. So 11 million free tokens per day API usage over on OpenAI. And I've got pretty close to that. I think I've actually gotten 25 million tokens a day. So I'm using it to train my stuff. Why not?
Yeah.
You know? I'm just using it for personal projects. I'm not using it for any client work that I'm doing because obviously that would require waivers and sign-offs and things like that. But
yeah,
if I'm just sharing data, building stuff for fun, I don't have any problem sharing all that with OpenAI. So if you're short on credits, you don't have any tokens, go see if you can add that to your account. Maybe for the next 10 or 20 days, you'll have free access. So something to look into. Kyrie, I got one other app I want to show some people before we take off. If you've got anything, please pipe up, man. We'll show what's going on in your world if you've got something in particular.
No, I mean let's go for it, man. Show them that.
I'm gonna have you help me build something. So, what kind of software have you been considering building recently, or a website, or what have you, that you don't have in place right now that you'd like to make for yourself? Because we can do it in a simple single line command right here if we want to do it front and back. This does full stack development, easysite.ai. So we're going to see what it's capable of.
So I've thought about building my own personal, just for my own personal use and for like my company's socials and stuff like that, like a Linktree clone type deal.
Let's see.
But that's the only thing that pops in my head right now.
Oh, that's cool. Personal Linktree. Let's say like an account where you could add other users to it.
Well, I mean, like really more of just like, Linktree serves as like the landing
service
page, right? Yeah, it's just like a Linktree like landing page that has all the that would make it easy for me to swap out what I want to prioritize when people visit it, right? Sometimes it can be a bit cumbersome to update this and update that when you are pushing a specific, party line for a certain amount of time or a certain quarter, or because of some kind of, top of mind, big in the news announcement or something like that. Something that would allow me to just go in, like essentially submit a form to update what's on the website is essentially what I was thinking about.
Yeah, let's say with a nice single page interface. So I like those kind of things.
Yeah.
For updating on a regular basis. Let's just see what this gets us. I'm kind of playing around here because I said, how big should I make these prompts? I'm like, he built this app. It sounds like to me, Ray and his engineering crew took DeepSeek to the limit in its capabilities of building out software and created this app by using that. They've created an app that can create more apps. So it's really kind of cool. This is that cyclic type process that we're running into. So I am asking this website builder called easysite.ai to build a personal Linktree service landing page with access to all socials and an AI agent. Something easy to edit and swap out content links for due to ever-changing schedules and venues with a nice single-page interface for updating on a regular basis. That's all I'm going to say. And I want to see what it's capable of doing. Do you want like well, let's do it this way. Use current website design standards. I'm sure it knows all that and it's going to do it anyway, but I want to see with some elements of what would you like to see in that like elements of martial arts within that context?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let's do that. I like that.
Like a plan.
I used to be into Taekwondo, dude, so I'm all good with martial arts. Would I want to go back? I would probably want to take on something like Krav Maga or anything.
Something to take them out quick.
Yeah, I love Taekwondo. Don't get me wrong.
Nobody,
I learned a
nobody
lot.
has time to be winding up kicks and doing roundhouses. We
No,
gotta end it in the
exactly.
first 30 seconds, man.
I agree.
I'm at an age where I'm not trying to be going back and forth with anybody.
No, but I'm old and I don't have long to spend in jail if something happens, so it doesn't matter what happens to me. I'm just being truthful with myself here. Okay, so the guns are rolling, and this is what happens. It's going to work to generate the website. First thing it's going to do is create an index HTML file, of course, which is the landing location of most websites on the internet from the old HTML format. But there we go. So it's going to sit here and code literally everything we need as far as JavaScript. It's going to build out the CSS. It's going to build out the templates, the HTML framework. It's going to also, according to Ray, this thing can build in full structured database elements in the back end as well. So I can't wait to really
Pretty
put it
cool.
to the test. Yes.
Yin yang after.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you see it come in? I didn't.
Yeah, I saw that was one of the CSS styles.
Oh, I can't wait to see the
So
way the site
they're
looks.
putting a yin yang symbol, I would assume, after some element on the page.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
probably.
thought it was cool. Like when I saw it building out how it was going to structure everything,
Mhm.
it had a footer.js file, it had an agent.js file, like compartmentalizing these kinds of things and not putting them in just one big old JS file so that they don't get you know, page load issues and you know, access issues and not
Yeah.
loading things the way we don't need to is really cool. So I
And
think
that's what
that's cool.
well, that's what I think the beauty of these tools are, Kyrie, is that, Anthropic mentioned 2 months ago that within 2 years there will be no junior coders, that the only people
Yeah.
managing the code will be the senior coders watching AI employees work.
Yeah.
And the more I see this, because they're self-sufficient, because they can go check their own work, now they have templates to check that stuff too. As we develop and continue to develop more builds within AI structure and format, I think we're going to continue to streamline, reduce, abridge all of this code to a point where, if have you ever seen Elixir code?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous what 10 lines of code can do in Elixir.
Hmm.
Okay. And I see that same thing happening soon within all of these spaces. I watch Jim work sometimes with his builds, and he sent me a few the other day, just literally not even that much text to do entire builds. And I'm like, how is that even capable? Is it possible? But it
Yeah,
is.
man.
And so give that to an AI and give it the ability to, now this is called vibe coding, what we're doing right now. And actually Microsoft, check this out, dude. While this is working in the background, Microsoft announced a new revolutionary keyboard design for vibe coding, which I thought was really cool. And this is it. It's the
You gotta
tab
be
board,
you gotta be
because
careful, man, when you sharing that stuff that's a day old because you know what
it's
yesterday
the
was.
it's the tab board. Yeah, Kyrie caught me. He figured it out before I even got a chance to finish. The tab board is a masterpiece of engineering, says the article. Encased in a stainless steel frame with a premium touch-sensitive tab key, this keyboard is designed for efficiency, style, and maximum vibes. Microsoft engineers have spent years perfecting the key's tactile response, ensuring the ultimate tabbing experience while vibe coding with Copilot. If you haven't gotten it yet, they noticed that 97% of all keystrokes made by real vibe coders were just pressing the tab key over and over and over again. If you don't get the joke, you weren't there for April Fool's Day. If you went ahead and followed to the end where it said you want to read the full story, you can create an account, or if you just want to go sign in, it really didn't matter. If you wanted the free physical AI assistant to help with the Copilot coding task free for perpetuity, then you just click the link and it took you to a page on April Fool's Day over at Wikipedia. So, pretty good on
Oh, that's hilarious.
Microsoft. I'll give them that much today.
That's funny.
So I had to throw in at least one April Fool's joke on April 2nd, even though it's a day late and $1 short. I thought it was pretty good. So it is what it is. All right, Kerry, let's see how the app's doing here. I think we got to be just about done. Oh, look at that. We have Marshall Links, home featured AI
You're
agent.
not
Oh,
it's
I'm
not
not
showing.
sharing them.
Yeah,
Nope,
you're not
I'm
sharing.
sorry. I thought I was still. Let's go back. Thanks for that. Appreciate the
Yep.
announcement. So this is what we got. I'm not going to share audio. There may actually be some audio on the back of this, but martial artist, instructor, influencer, your personal link hub. Connect with me across all platforms and stay tuned. So we got some links, much like Linktree, Instagram, Twitter, little animation going on and overglow on the buttons.
Yeah,
Easy
man.
editing, mobile friendly, AI assistant. So you got your martial arts assistant built in with the little chat widget. All of your social links. If you wanted to edit the links, it looks like it's add a link, reset, done. You just come in, change the link, change the icon, change the color, and it's it. You're done.
Yep.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
The fact that that was built from a text prompt in less than 5 minutes?
Yeah, 1 sentence. And we could just take all of this code, which is right here, stacked in a nice little foldered format.
Modular.
So everything's there. We can double check those if we have to with an actual drill sergeant type coder. Just send it to them if we had to and say, will this work? And more than likely it will. So this would actually run on a local host if you wanted to just drop it in a folder and link to the index HTML file. You could import it into your favorite website builder probably as well and use the code to build something from this and continue on to finalize it. So cool stuff. Saved us like what, 3 hours of work right there?
Yeah, easily. Right. That's not counting design. No, because design is the longest piece. Layout and design is the longest piece of any like web-based project, in my opinion.
Yeah, coming up with the what is it going to look like? You know, it's that 100%. Part that is the most difficult. So, Kyrie, as usual, thanks for stopping by. I have a feeling you and I are going to be hanging out here regularly a little bit, just doing our thing. It's really a whoever shows type atmosphere here at Best AI Podcast. If you want to check us out, though, head over to bestai.tv, fill out the form, get the notification. Best AI TV on YouTube, Facebook, all across LinkedIn as well. I think you can find us over on my profile, and we thank you if you're hanging out there. But come by next week. Not sure whether we're going to be here next week yet, only for a little retrospect. We're going to see whether we can get some guests here on the show more often than we ever do, which we haven't really. Kind of restructure as far as format goes and maybe focus more on rather just, you know, we'd like the alerts. We'd like the updates, right, Kyrie? We like to know what's going on in the arena, but we would also like to help you guys figure it out in the making. So come by and check us out at the new community at AIO Academy. At least that's the one I'm running, and that's aiocrm.org/portal. Where you can, I don't think I have that on a list. Let's see, and we'll let us get out of here. Nope, that's one I don't have on there. So for now, just head over to the Best AI TV like we did before. Look for all our content there, and we'll follow up for you next week. So take care, Kyrie. Thanks for coming by as always. And we'll
sure, man. Anytime.
All right, you take it easy, man. Have a good week. We are out of here. We're breaking the mold. With AI fusion, let the story unfold. From life to business, the future is here. Unlock the potential, make it crystal clear. It's time to fuse, let the sparks ignite. AI in action, reaching new heights. Life and business blending into one. AI fusion, the journey's just